In this video, we're going to be solving various WCA events with certain restrictions, and we're starting with 3x3 with gloves. No, not those kind of gloves, these kind of gloves. Okay, just forget it. Can't even do one sexy move on this cube. I'm gonna struggle solving the whole thing because I am gonna probably have to use wrist turns. And even another thing is I'm gonna probably have to figure out how to start the timer because this doesn't work. I'm gonna push down, help. Can I start the timer? Is it possible? I guess not. I'm gonna have to take off my gloves and put them on for the solve. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. I can't go for the cube right away. This is wasting time and time to start doing wrist turns. This is not my best idea. Okay, that pair is gonna take forever. I can't hold this cube. I should do a different pair. I'm not doing that pair. Okay, that's like the third drop today. Okay, final pair. Avoided the bad long case. Okay, Olo's pretty average here. If it was able to have finger tricks, I would like this, but I don't like this. PLL is J-perm, so it's shorter. Oh, I was actually turning at like 2 turns a second there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take this off as well. 152, that was a train wreck. Okay, so now you know solving with oven mitts is a very terrible idea. I think you would assume that, but now you for sure know it's a terrible idea. And now we're on to our next challenge, which is supposedly a 2x2. I say supposedly a 2x2 because it is a 6x6, but it's scrambled like a 2x2. So this is gonna be interesting. I think blue is the best side for me here, so I'm just gonna go. This should definitely be faster than the last challenge, if I remember my algorithms, which I think I do, and I don't accidentally turn this into a real 6x6, 1067, not bad. So 2x2 was a weird cube, and now for 4x4, we're gonna do a weird solving method, and that is layer by layer. So yeah, it is a good 4x4, and it's just a stupid method that I have to use. So maybe this will be better. I practiced this a tiny bit, but obviously I didn't practice it much because why would I practice this? But it still might be not good. Let's go here. It's basically the same start as the Yao method, except you don't make the other center, and then you start going layer by layer here. Here we go, second layer complete. Time for commutators. The fact that I'm actually turning well with this method is probably not a good sign, but now it's time for last layer. And for this, random algorithms, here we go. Okay, that worked. Now just a normal 4x4 last layer now. Okay, 130. That's not as good as I would have thought it'd be. So that was a disaster, but now we'll move on to one-handed. And because in one-handed, you only use one of your hands for each of the solves, you usually use that hand for every solve. And because I usually use that hand for every solve, I'm gonna use the other hand for this solve, so it's unfamiliar to me. You use your left hand for one-handed if you're right-handed, because you can do turns easier. Like you can do a bunch of R and U moves a lot easier. But if you use your non-dominant hand, it's a lot harder to do these R and U moves because you have to like reach all the way around. So I'm gonna hopefully work something out here. It's just so weird and off to solve with the right hand for one-handed. And also if you're left-handed and you do one hand, you probably solve with your right hand. Using the wrong hand for one-handed is using your dominant hand. By the way, count how many times I say hand in this segment. I got one of the worst OLLs. I really hate this OLL. Oh, but I got a pretty good PLL. And for one-handed, this would normally be good, but because I'm using my non-dominant hand, it's not as good. Still good to finish though. It's under a minute, 5-7, 5-7-8. So that's why you use your non-dominant hand for one-handed. But next event is actually pretty big. And by that, I mean it's Pyraminx. Okay, next up here is Pyraminx, except it's not a normal size. You could probably tell in relation to the stack mat or my hands. This probably won't be too hard because I think I can still do normal finger tricks, but it will probably definitely be slower than my normal times. Also because I don't practice this event, but somehow get good times in competition. And I got a 6-second solve. That's actually pretty close to my normal times. So somehow that was good. And next one, I don't think is gonna be as good. It's Megaminx without magnets. And I'll show you why that's important in a second. So this one is Megaminx, but there's no magnets. And for puzzles, magnets, like you can get good non-magnetic cubes. Magnets really matter in this puzzle, and the result for this time will probably show you why. So it's gonna be impossible to turn, and considering you have to turn the puzzle so many times, it's gonna be absolutely terrible. I lock up every other move. And then my strategy for Megaminx is I just solve random pairs if I can see both pieces. Like even if they're not on the current step, I just solve them. I feel like that's something that's pretty underrated. Okay, this is already above my normal Megaminx times, and I'm not even onto last layer. Last layer is a dot case, of course. For OLL, I usually guess on this step, and I'm getting it right here. I don't know how this has taken so long. Like you see, that was over a minute slower than my normal Megaminx times. So it's really going into perspective how much magnets matter. Okay, after that disaster in Megaminx, I'm gonna move on to something more interesting in clock. Okay, so for clock, I'm gonna be solving it into a checkerboard style pattern in which every other clock is either facing at 12 or at 6. So it looks pretty cool. The center clock and the 4 corner clocks are on down, and then the edge clocks are up. It's the same for this side too. The center clock and corner clocks are down and the edge clocks are up. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure out exactly where each clock needs to be solved. These clocks are normal. The center clock and corner clocks are not normal though. So I need to do the same solving method, but just with a different solve state. So I'm just gonna require a lot of brain power here. So I have to match them up to be opposites, the center and corner. Okay, I need to match the edges together. That I think is a solved cross. So now I'm gonna go to the other side, solve this opposites there. Here, I'm just gonna look at the edges only. Okay, looking at the edges only is a lot better. And now I need to solve the corners. And for the corners, I'm just gonna put one down and then turn the corner. Actually, it's probably not a good idea. I think that's not what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna match the corner up here and then turn it back because that's what you do normally. Okay, I have to make sure that that side's solved as well. Okay, 103, not bad. A checkerboard clock, that's the closest thing you can get to what I just did. But now we're moving on to a painful challenge, which is square one. Okay, this one is square one, but I can only do wrist turns. So this is gonna be a nightmare. Usually turning on square one, if you could do it well, is very satisfying, but this is not gonna be satisfying, especially to people who like square one. So look away, people who like square one. This is gonna be a nightmare for you. Oh no, usually I guess for cube shape, but now my stupidity is being exposed to the world. Okay, I got kite scallop. Okay, this is not fun. M2s are also a bit weird. Okay, now for PLL, hopefully this is good. Okay, I'm gonna start with this. I messed that up. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Okay, that's right. Let's do this. I'm not gonna do CU perms. That's too complicated to think about. And I don't have parity. That is super lucky. I need to figure this out though. I do have to bar flip, but that's better than parity because I could just do that. 137. That was so hard to make sure I was doing wrist turns. I actually wanted to do something competent, but I wasn't allowed to. So now we know how bad wrist turns are for square one. And now I have an interesting experiment with Scube here. We all know Scube as an event that slips and slides out of your hands. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna over lube this already pretty fast Scube and see what happens. See if there's slipping and sliding going on here. Okay. That's 10 drops of lube in the Scube. It's probably a bad idea, but we'll see how this goes. I can already feel it on my hands. Okay, this is scrambled, and I'm going to see if this thing slips out of my hands. I am also not going to avoid risky finger tricks, so I have the maximum chance for it to happen. Like this first move, it already might have slipped out of my hands there. I'm not sure. Oh, I got lucky there. Okay, that is pretty helpful. Thanks a lot, Overlube Scube. 1760, and it's +2, I just realized. Now you know how to not solve WCA events. Comment your favorite part from this video down below, and I'll see you in the next video.